Right. Welcome to the eighth video, and this is going to be the last video to the beginner level course on Introduction to Java and Object-Oriented Programming. And today we'll be doing some practical problems. We'll see that how we can, design classes and systems using the principles of Object-Oriented Programming. Before we get started, a quick reminder that this course is being offered in association with newtonschool.co. This is the website of Newton School, the link to which will be given to you in the description section. So please go and check that out. So you can follow this course on Newton School as well. If you are not registered, then you can come and register from the Newton School's website. And then once you have registered, you will be redirected to the dashboard where under tracks, look for Introduction to Java and Object-Oriented Programming by Pratik Bhattacharya, and you can apply for the course here. The advantage of applying for the course from Newton School is that along with the videos, you will also be able to do the assignments, follow up on quizzes, and have doubts clearing session. Right. Let's carry on. So today, as we said, this is the final class, and today's topic is design based on object-oriented principle. So we'll be looking at the classes and how classes and objects can be created, and how you can take a real life problem and then you can map it into Java or map it into the programming language using object-oriented principles. So for till the last class, what we did was we studied about the pillars of object-oriented programming and how you can use those pillars and those principles in coding actual applications. So in real life also, when you are actually becoming a software developer and you will start designing softwares and application to automate certain tasks or to help some people, you will always be looking, you will always need to look at how that particular thing functions in the real life, and the way it functions in the real life, you need to automate the same using your code, using your programs. So that's what a lot of these softwares are all about. Like for example, if you're creating a software that will allow users to pay their taxes, like a software which will get to the details like how much you're getting per month, and then details like that how much your amount you're saving, how much money you are investing, and stuff like that. It is going to get all those information, and it will help you to calculate how much tax you need to pay, and then it is going to help you in paying that tax in the Indian government besides. Now this is a very real life problem, right? Like you are actually what without your software, what a particular user, what a particular person does the calculations in real life, like does the calculations on probably on pen and paper, or maybe they need to keep track of certain things, of all their investments, of all their bank accounts and everything. You are trying to do the same thing, but you are doing some automation into it. You're helping the user automate this so that the user can do it at a faster rate. So when you are designing some problem and you want to keep this object-oriented principles in mind, the first things that I keep telling everyone, and probably this is something that I'm going to tell all of you also, that you need to mimic real life as much as possible. And the whole, the basis of having object-oriented programming is that object-oriented programming was created in the first place to mimic real life, so that whatever thing you're putting on the code, that has close connection to how it is actually implemented in reality, so that it can it can reflect the world properly. So that's what is the first thing that you should be keeping in mind while you are using object-oriented principle or while you are designing something. Second thing that matters is readability matters. This is a very important point actually. Like people often, or new developers often do not give a lot of thought about it, but readability matters. So when I talk about readability, it is like how much, like if you're opening up a file, whether that particular code file, whether it is properly indented or not, that is, if you're following proper indentation, if you are following proper bracing guidelines. So all these styling guidelines, although it seems trivial, because the styling guidelines really are not helping you achieve any functionality, but readability matters a lot, because your program is going to be read by other people as well. So they also need to be able to read your program and understand your program properly. The third thing you should keep in mind is separation of concern. Separation of concern means don't try to do multiple things in the same place. That is exactly what separation of concern means. That if you you should, like, if there are if there are two things that if there is a code which concerns two particular thing, probably you should break it down. You should separate it out. That is what is meant by separation of concern. So and one small example, or rather, if people follow something like the like Uncle Bob's principles of clean coding, what he says is that if you're writing a function, you must keep one thing in mind, that a function should do one thing, it should do one thing only, and you should do it well. So it is always, when you're writing a class, or when you're designing a method, or when you are designing a package, always try to break your complex code into small pieces, such that each piece represents a single thing. The fourth thing that you should always keep in mind is that mature developers are the ones who write code that can be understood by other developers. Again, this point, initially, if you are trying to, when people try to write code, they might not, give so much thought about it. They might like, okay, if I can read my code, that is good enough, but then that is not the case. Because the code that you write, tomorrow someone else will be maintaining that code, or someone else will be, adding more features into that code. So if other developers are unable to understand what work you have done, what ground flat foundation work you have done, then they won't be able to use that platform, or they won't be able to do their work properly. So that's why it is always said that when you're writing code, you should always keep in mind that if someone else is going to read your code, they should also be able to understand it. Complex code is equal to collection of simple code. So if you are ever if you ever encounter a situation where you have to solve a very complex problem, and you think that to solve this problem you need to write lines and lines of code, that is, we need to do a lot of complicated code there, you should always break it down. You should break it down into a collection of very small simple codes. So this small simple code, they together integrated, they can do a complex one. But your individual units, your individual unit of code, they should be very simple in nature. People should be able to see them and understand, okay, this is what it's doing. And then all the simple things together, they're achieving something complex. So that is how you should always, tackle whenever you come across some complex or complicated scenario. Don't underestimate the power of pen and paper. Very, very, very important. Like, before you can actually write something, write something on the keyboard or on your ID, something you can code, you should always take a pen and paper and try to, draw your thoughts. That probably, like, let's say you're trying to design a chess game, like maybe you're trying to design a website where people can come and play chess. So there are so many things here. There are so many moving parts here, right? Like, you have got the, like, when, if you have to represent, or if you have to design a chessboard, you have got, pieces. Then those pieces have got their ways to move. Like, for example, a knight can move in a different way than a rook or a king. Then you can have checkmate, you can have multiple players playing and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that you need to consider. And right from the time when you hear about the problem, if you start coding, then you might, at the middle of the coding, you might suddenly realize, okay, maybe I forgot something about it. Okay, this is not how it should be. Okay, maybe I need to add another class. To avoid all those things, the first thing you should do is, you've heard a problem, take a deep breath, and then take a pen and take a piece of paper, and then draw out your solution. Think of all the classes that you are going to be doing, and all the classes and objects, and how they are going to be interacting with each other. Think about that, and put that on pen and paper. And after you have done that, then try to start the coding for it. Anyway, so these are some of the tidbits that I picked up over the years as my experience as a software engineer. And since this class we will be talking about designing, I felt that probably I should share this with you people. Anyway, with that, we will be going directly into coding, since it is all about designing today. So we will be designing a few scenarios. So again, I'll be using NSID to show you the coding. So I'll just call it as design, let's say. And we need to use Java. Okay, I'll increase the size a bit. Okay. So let's start. So today, the first thing that we will be doing is, it's a very simple program, but I'll be showing some, ways of how, you can relate between two objects, and how, you can pass one object as a parameter and then use that object's properties and everything. I wanted to show this concept. That's the reason I'll be taking this program first. So the program is very, very simple. It is like you have to design a point class. Okay. So point class means, if you are doing coordinate geometry, then a point in space is represented. I'm talking about two-dimensional space here. A point in two-dimensional space is represented by the x and the y coordinate. It is basic geometry. So you need to represent a point in Java. That is, you need to design, you need to program for that. You need to write a class for that, and as well as you need to write a method using which you will be able to collect, or which will be able to calculate the distance, the Euclidean distance between both the points. So let's start coding. So first thing that we need to do is we need to create the point class. So probably it's simple as that, point. Now, what are the data that a point class can hold or should hold? So we know that if you're doing in a 2D geometry, then you have got the x coordinate and the y coordinate. The x is the horizontal coordinate, y is the vertical coordinate. So you need to hold the x and the y coordinate of the point. So those are the two things. So I'll just call it as x and I'll call it as y probably. Now, every time, when you're declaring a variable and you're declaring it as a public or whatever it is, you should always think about the access modifiers and encapsulation in mind. Like you've created the point class, you've created the x and the y. The question is, do I really need to make it public? That is, what am I achieving by making it public? That is, I'm making it available to outside of this class. There is no point in doing that, right? Because as soon as you make this public, that means anyone outside this class can come and change this value. That's what we saw yesterday as well in when we were discussing about encapsulation, that if you make it public, that means people can access and they can change the value. So probably I should make it private, right? Because once a point object has been created, I really don't want anyone to come and mess up with my value. So I'll make it private. Next thing, I need to have a constructor. So here again in the constructor, I'm just going to take the values of x and y, and I'm going to be showing a very interesting concept here. So one thing, if you see here, two variables have been created. One is an instance level variable called x, and another is a local variable, or that is this method level variable called x. Now both of them have the same case, that is both of them are smaller case and they have the same name. So here if I write something like x equal to 1, which variable am I actually accessing? Am I accessing this variable or am I accessing this variable? Because both of these variables have the same name, and we have already learned that a method in a class have access to the local variables as well as to the instance variables. So here the question is, if I do x equal to 1, am I talking about this variable or am I talking about this variable? So in this situation, when I say x equal to 1, I'm actually talking about this variable. And the reason why it happens is because when you are resolving the scope of a particular variable, like I said, x equal to 1, what the compiler is going to do is it is going to look for x in the local variable list first. It will say that, hey, does this method point have got a variable called x? If so, then that is a variable whose value we are trying to assign. So x equal to 1 means this variable will be used. But here is the question now. How do I then access this variable? Because I do need to set the value of this variable. I need to assign the value of this variable with this whatever data I'm passing here. So how do I access this variable? That is the question. So this is where a keyword called this comes into the picture. So this means if I'm using this keyword, it means I am saying that I am referencing the instance variables. So if I write this.x, the compiler understands that this.x means I need to look for this variable x at the instance level. That is, when the object is created, I need to look for the variable at the object level. That if an object of point is created, does that object point have a variable called x? If so, give me that variable. So this dot x actually refers to this variable here. And this dot x equal to x means, and this x means what? I'm not writing any keyword in front of it. I'm not giving this keyword in front of this x. That means this value will be taken from here, from the local variable list. Similarly, I'm going to do this dot equal to y. So this giving this keyword is actually a pretty good practice, and a lot of people follow that. Let's write a very simple method called display, which will just display the x and y coordinate. Yes, so I'll be giving probably something like x, y. And let's just see if it works. For that, I need to write the main class, which will be my entry point. Okay, 2 points, 1 comma 8, let's say, and then I do q1 dot display. Let me run that. It should work fine. It is 1 comma 8, exactly whatever I had passed. Now the question is, I said that I need to improve upon this, and I said that I need to write a method which is going to calculate the distance between 2 points. So see, now there are two ways of doing it. The first way of that I can do it is that in the main class itself, I write another method called something like, let's say, public static calculate distance, and I give 2 points here, like point P1, comma point P2, and then I do the processing here. That's one of the ways of doing it. But this is not, a very intuitive way of doing this, because I'm trying to, when I say that I need to calculate the distance between 2 points, can I also rephrase it as that, hey, given this particular point of that, for given this particular point, what is the distance of this point from another given point? Which means that I already have a point class here. So if I give another object of point class to this class itself, and I tell it, hey, can you write a method here which is actually going to calculate the distance between the current point, that is this point, with the given point, something like this probably. Calculate distance. So this method, what it is saying is that give me an object of point P. So this is important here. See, we are in the point class, and in the point class itself, I'm saying that, hey, the point class can have a method which will accept a variable of type point itself. So this is also possible. Like so this is also another a very neat trick that you can call, that you can use. So inside this class, I am accepting another point. That is, I'm already in the point class, and the point class can accept another point. And this concept, you need to just think about it a bit, or you need to digest this a bit, because this happens this happens a lot in real life as well. So you can have two objects, and both the objects can be of same type, but they can have a relationship between them. Point is a very good example. Like you can have, like let's say if you're representing a line is what? A line is nothing but 2 points, right? So one point is related to another point. So the same object somehow or the other is related to another object of the same type. That can happen. And that is what we're trying to show here. Is when I'm talking about relationship between objects, and how two objects are related to each other, the object can be related to another object of the same type. That is very much possible in real life, as well as you can do it in the programming world as well. So I've been given another point. Now the question is that how do I calculate the distance between 2 points? So the formula is x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square, a root over of it. That's the Euclidean distance. So I'll do that problem, math.sqrt. Again, so here now when I'm doing it, so I have to do x1 minus x2. x1 means the current x minus the given points x. So current x, how do I represent it? I can do it by this dot x minus p dot x. So that means this dot x means what? This dot x means the current object's x minus the past object's x. That is what is meant by this dot x minus p dot x. So I'm saying x1 minus x2 whole square. That means this one will be done twice. x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. That means this dot y minus point dot y. This one again, this will be whole square, so multiplied by this. And this whole thing will be under root over. So since it's under root over, I'm doing a math.sqrt. So math.sqrt is again a mathematical function in Java. So you can look into the math class. The math class has got a lot of mathematical utilities like square root, powering of, inverse, absolute, and everything and stuff like that. So math.sqrt means I'm trying to do find the square root of this. So I'm doing the square root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. Now let me create another point. Let's say P2 will be equal to new point, and this point, let's say I'll take random values, something like, let's say 12. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to calculate the distance between them. So the distance at the P1 dot calculate distance P2. So the distance is there. I'm just going to print that out now. So let us just go ahead and this should work. Right, it is as a distance. So that's how you're calculating the distance. So calculating the distance was not really the difficult part here. The concept that I wanted to give was that if you're designing the class, how do you design that? And plus, if you can pass an object as a parameter to a method of that class, and in fact, you can go one level up where you can, the object that you're passing, that can be of the same type as well. Like the point class is also is related to another object of the point type, another object of point. So this is the kind of the concept that I wanted to convey. with this code. We'll be moving on to the next question, but before that, I'll just take a look into the whether there are any questions on live chat. I do not see any question on live chat. That's fine. Just as a reminder that if you have any questions, any doubts, or any feedback about the class, you can post that on the live chat. All right, I'll take this, and we will go and do something else now. And this is going to be again a real life scenario we are going to talk about, and we'll see how we can put that in code. So what you have to design here is you have to design a television. Okay. And the aspects that you need to consider is that a television can have a set of channels, like modern televisions, they can have 3,000, 4,000 channels as well. Like it does got a huge capacity. So you have to design a television which can have some X number of channels in it, X number of capacity in it. Every channel, and you can have three types of channel. You can have sports channel, you can have news channel, or you can have entertainment channel. Now I've just broadly categorized, but there can be other channels like kids entertainment and stuff like that. Or probably everything is falling under the same umbrella here. Okay, all right. And then every channel that you're saying, we are going to be showing some television program at some point of time. Like for example, let's say you have switched on to BBC News. So BBC News, between BBC, probably some news program is going on, or maybe you've switched on to some sports channel and there is some cricket match going on, or some football match going on and stuff like that. Or maybe you switched on to a channel like HBO where probably the movies are going on. So this is the scenario. So this scenario is what you need to design in your programming languages. Like for example, assume that you are trying to write an automation for a smart TV. That is, that is in a smart TV. You are trying to write some automation of where people can come and change channel. That is, you can add more. That is, the DHT can add more channels into the television, and then each channel is going to be given a number, and then you will be given an input from the user, probably by the remote control, that is which channel the user wants to see, and you need to change the channel. So probably this is the software that you're trying to design. You're trying to design a television automation, a smart TV problem. Now to do that, you need to use object-oriented principles here. That is, you need to see that you have got a television. So probably television is an object, and then you have got channels inside it. The channels can have programs inside it. There can be multiple types of channels and all stuff like that. So given all these programs and terminologies, now let us try to design the solution. That is, or let us try to design the classes and objects for it. Okay. So first thing I said is that we have got a class called television. So let us just write the classes first. Okay. Television is the first class. We'll come and define them later. Next, we know that we say that a TV can have multiple channels into it. That means I need to have a class called channel here. Okay. And the other thing that we said is that every channel can have multiple television programs going on. The multiple type of shows or programs going on. So I need another thing here, which probably I'll call it as TV program. Okay. So I have these three basic classes kind of covered, which I say that like television is an object class, channel is a class, TV program is a class. So let us try to design right from the most basic, and the most basic probably here is the television TV program. A TV program is most basic. So TV program has got very few stuff. So every program, I'm saying that it has got a name and a description to it. Like if you have actually used modern TV, you will understand that when you change a channel, you will actually understand that there will be a description which will tell you what is the program that is going on. And if you click on the more info button, you will also get to see some description, some text about that particular program, like some subtext or some description about that particular program that is going on. You might also have, when the program starts, when the program ends and stuff like that. But let us not go into that complexity about when the program starts and program ends. So let us just assume some program is going on, and that program is going to have a name and a description to it. So if it has only a name and description to it, I'll call it as that. Sorry. I'm giving it some name, and then I need to give it a description to it. Okay? Some name and description. So I'll take this thing, TV program. And I'll take the name and the description here. Sorry about all the typos. And probably I'll just have one method called display, which will just display the program. So when you're displaying the program, since I'm on the actual, I'm doing from console application, I'll just go system.out.println. But probably if you are in like, doing it in real world, probably what you need to do is you will maybe need to show this. that is show this in the sense like actually project this into the TV. So maybe you will be given some APIs where you can actually interact with the hardware of the TV, and when someone says display, the display method should actually interface with this hardware and actually show the content of the channel or stream the content of the channel from some connection, from a satellite connection or something like this. So I'll just show the name and the description here. So this one acts like a mock actually. So this is actually called mocks actually. Like I'm just mocking this, nothing else. So that's what the TV program is. There is nothing much into it. Let us go into channel now. Now, channel, as we said, what are the things that a channel can have? A channel can have a particular number, like if you go to like channel number 100, channel number 200, 300, 400, whatever, like channel can have a number where the channel particular decides. That number actually correlates to the frequency at which the channel is getting broadcasted. But for now, let us just understand that the channel has some sort of a number. So I'll call it again number. Again, one thing, if you notice properly, then you can see that all the fields that I'm defining them as private. The reason I'm calling them as private is because of encapsulation. That is, I don't want anyone other than my classes or my objects to change this thing. They can see, they can display the data. Like here, I'm displaying the name and the description, but I don't want anyone else to change it. Once a TV program has been created, no one should be able to change the name and description of the TV program. Same thing with the channel. Once a channel has been created, no one should be able to change the number of the channel and also the name of the channel. So I'll call another one as name. And another thing that I'm going to take here is that is, see, every channel will show some program, right? So a channel will have a list of programs with it. That is like, for example, if you take a channel like something like HBO probably. So HBO will have a list of movies that it is going to be showing for the day. Or if you take some other channel, like something like 10 sports or something like that. So whatever matches are going on, something like maybe India, Australia live, sorry, India, England live match, or maybe some English Premier League football matches. So it's going to have a list of that thing. And every program is represented by this class. So what it means, every channel is going to have a list of objects of TV program. And how do we represent list or collection in Java? We learned about this when we were studying about, the non-primitive data types. You do it using arrays. So I'm going to create another array here, TV program, and I'm just going to call it as, let's say for now, whatever, let's call it as programs only. Okay. Now let's create I'll call it ID number, and I'm going to call it as, I'm going to take only the name. Now I'll intentionally not take the programs here because I want to show you a very simple, a very nice pattern that we do in Java. Not Java, actually, we do it in a lot of programming world. Okay, that's called having a setup. So if you have some complex data, or if you have some data which that might need some extra calculation or stuff like that, you may not take that in the constructor. That is, the constructor, we actually take those values generally, or we initialize those values, without which this object cannot exist. That is, this object will not have any identity without them. Like, for example, without a number and a name, the channel is not going to have any identity. But without programs, probably it can. Maybe it is a demo channel, maybe it is a test channel, so it does not have any TV programs yet. But if it is to be a valid channel, it must have a number and a name. So that's the reason why number and a name we're taking in the constructor. But because without these values, without the channel number and the channel name, this channel does not have any existence in the real world. That's the reason why I took it in the constructor. For other things which can be set later, which can be added later, we do typically add something like a setup. So I'm going to write a method called set program, where also I'm going to be taking this array of programs. And I say programs is equal to program. See, what I'm doing is, this is a private method. This is a private attribute. That's the reason the programs cannot be set from anywhere outside of the channel. That I cannot go outside of the channel and set it. So I need to set it inside the channel itself. So I kind of exposed a method called set programs, using which someone else can actually set the program. I'll set programs probably just to be in touch with have the proper plural and singular convention. Anyway, but this is not over actually, because if you remember, I said that there can be multiple types of channel. There can be a sports channel, there can be news channel, and there can be some entertainment channel. And every channel may have some subtle difference between a subtle difference. What difference we'll probably talk about it later, but they may have some subtle difference. Maybe the way they are showing the channel, the way they are broadcasting the channel, there might be some subtle differences into it. Okay, so that's the reason a channel class doesn't make any sense, or rather, it doesn't make any sense in the sense it is very vague in nature. Just like yesterday when we were doing about shape, I said having a shape object doesn't make sense because a lot of questions will come. And what shape is it? Is it a square? Is it a circle? Is it a rectangle? It's a rhombus? Whatever. What is it? Similarly, due to the way we are kind of describing the program, we are saying that there can be multiple types of channel. Just having a channel object doesn't make sense. You need to tell what type of channel it is, whether it's a sports channel, news channel, entertainment, whatever it is. How do we implement those kind of concepts in object-oriented world? We use inheritance and abstraction. So first thing I said is that since channel itself is vague, that means it is abstract in nature. So I'll probably make it as an abstract. So this is an abstract class. Abstract class means what? That this classes only exist to guide you or to give an interface to the user, whoever is using your calling your program and everything. But you cannot create an actual object of this class, and that is what it is. Channel is too vague for us to create an object. So I need to have something like, I'm calling it, let's say, as the news channel. And news channel is nothing but a channel itself. I'm actually write it below it just for convention. News channel is just extending the channel. That's it. And now let me say that. Sorry. And now let me say that news channel has got a special property, that is every news channel must have an editor, that who's editing that particular news channel. I need to have that information. So maybe I'll keep the thing as a string. I'll call it as whoever is the editor. Okay. And I'll create the constructor. In the constructor, and remember, in the constructor must call the parent constructor. And the parent constructor says that it needs a number and a name. So this constructor also must take the number and the name. But along with it, it's also going to take who's the editor of that particular channel. And yesterday we discussed this, but how do I call the constructor of my parent class? I use it on super. So number comma name, that is what is expected. And editor, I'm going to say is editor. Very good. News channel is done. Let's very fast create another thing called, let's say, entertainment channel. Or I'll call it as a sports channel. Okay, sports channel, extends channel. And here also maybe there is a special property. And here I'm going to take what are the type of sports which are shown here. Okay, so this is a string. Like what are the type of sports which are shown here? Like do we show only only cricket, or does it show cricket and football and hockey and wrestling and stuff like that? So maybe I'm going to take an information like that. And since each sport can be represented as a string, I'm just taking it as a string array. Sports equal to sports. Okay. Let's keep only to sports and news channel. I'm going to skip entertainment channel in the interest of time. Or maybe I'll just do it. It won't take much time. So we call it as entertainment channel. Entertainment channel has probably just the type of entertainment that it shows, like movies or kids show or whatever it is. So that's on the string. Type. Okay. Basic things are done now. Okay. That is this basic things are done. Now, what other behavior can a channel have? Another behavior of a channel has is that when in the TV, you're actually changing the channel, you need to show the content of the channel. So the channel object must have a method called show channel. And that is the method which will actually be called, like when the TV from the TV, when you're actually changing the channel, you need to call the show channel method. So in the channel of abstract class, I can have something like that. Like call it a show channel. What show channel? Now here is a question. Like just show channel has a problem. Show channel has a problem in the sense that the news channel may decide to show it in a different way. The sports channel might have a different way of showing it. The entertainment channel might have a different way of showing it. So show channel may not be the I may not be able to write it in the channel class, because channel class is a very abstract class. It's a parent class. So if I implement the show channel method here, that means all the sub channels like entertainment, sports, news, they need to inherit that method as is. But that cannot happen, right? Because as I said, the news channel, entertainment channel, they have their own way of showing the channels. They have their own way of displaying, own way of proclaiming and stuff like that. Hence, I cannot implement the method here. But what I can do here is I can make it into an abstract thing called show channel, so that As per the laws of abstraction, the TV will know that no matter what type of channel it is, it should be able to show the, I should be able to show the channel. But how the show channel is implemented, that is hidden on the TV. The basic principles of abstraction, if you remember yesterday's object-oriented programming discussion that we had, the basic principle of abstraction is implementation hiding. That is hiding the details. So the TV object knows that I have channel, but the TV doesn't care what type of channel it is. That is the channel's headache. TV knows that I can show a channel. If someone changes the number, I'll see what channel is there on that particular number, and I'm going to tell the channel, show yourself. How that show yourself is implemented is not the headache of TV. So that's the reason why in the abstract class channel, I am mentioning a method called show channel, but I'm not implementing it here. I'll be implementing it in the in the subclasses. So let's say news channel, I need to implement it now here. Public void show channel. I'll do this in a minute, but I'll also have to do some interesting work here, or some hacky work here actually. So when I'm saying show channel, one thing is like in the channel, I need to find out that what program has been going on at that time. That what like I need to know that, right? That what program was going on at that particular time. Whenever I'm trying to show channel and stuff like that. And how do I do that? So every channel has got a program. Okay, like every channel has got a list of programs that I said, an array of programs, and based on the time of the day, I need to find out which program is going on. Like for example, let's say the India-England test match was going on the daytime. So if I switch on to 10, whatever channel was showing India-England test match, if I switch on to the channel at that point of time, maybe at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I should be able to see the match. So the TV program has got a time component related to it. So when you are actually doing the real world program, obviously those are the things that you need to keep in mind. But for now, you really don't need to worry so much about it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is, by random, I'm going to pick up a channel. A program. So I'm going to do like get current program. So what I'll do is I'll do it at random. Random in the sense. So now for using random, you need to understand like Java has got again a utility library, like how we saw scanner class. Scanner was a utility library used for taking input from the standard console. So similarly, Java has another utility called random, which is used for generating random number. So I'm going to generate a random number here. So this is the syntax for generating a random number. You create an object of type random. I'll call it as random only. Come on, new random, and then I need to create a number. That is, I need to create a number between 0 and as many number of programs that this particular channel has. So how do I do that is something like this. So let's say I'll say int random channel is equal to random dot next int. Okay, next int is the way of how I can generate a random number, and I also need to give how big of a number do I need. How big of a number do I need means that from 0 to how big of a number can I actually generate. So that is where program.length comes into picture. So program.length means is a programs.length. Programs.length means what is the size of this array, and what array is this? This is the array of number of programs that this channel can hold at any point of time. So programs.length. So if this channel can hold, let's say 5 programs. So I'm saying that between 0 to 4, generate a random number for me. So that is what this random channel is doing. And then I'm just going to return TV programs. Only programs of random channel. That's it. As simple as that. This is how I'm going to get the current program. Now let's come here. Now when I'm doing the show channel, I need to know what program is currently going on. And how do I do that? I'll do TV program. Program is equal to get current program. A very quick, a very interesting trick here. If you see, get current program is not implemented in the news channel class. But since news channel class is inheriting the channel class, all the methods which are written in the channel class will also get inherited by news channel. So when get current channel will be called, it is going to actually call this method which is written in the parent class. Another example of code reuse, where instead of writing this get current program in all the channels, since its functionality was common, I implemented this in the parent class itself. I did not have to implement it in the subclasses. I can implement it in the parent class itself. This also shows one more thing, that if you are declaring a class to be abstract, it doesn't mean all the methods there needs to be an abstract method. It can also have non-abstract methods there. There is a term actually in Java where if all the methods in an abstract classes are abstract, it's known as a pure abstract class. But here, this is not a pure abstract class, because here we have got abstract as well as non-abstract methods defined here. There is no compilation error if you do if you define a non-abstract class here, so it's okay to define. Anyway, I made TV program to get current program. Now I have to show the channel. I'm showing the channel. I need to do again, like if I was in the real world, then probably again you need to probably connect with satellite and get the channel and then show the channel to the TV operator, stuff like that. But you don't have to do all those things here. Here I can simply just print something, and I'm going to print let's say channel number. The channel number is here in number. Okay, now here again an interesting thing will happen, and I'll show you. And I'm going to give the name of the channel. The name of the channel is name. Now here, see, this name and number are again not present in news channel class. It is present actually in the channel class. This number and name. Question is, can I use this number and name in this in the subclass? I could use this method, but can I? Or rather, the question here is, can I also use this method in the subclass? Because the problem here, if you see, as per access modifier, I've defined it to be private. The method also declared to be private. The attributes also have declared to be private, and private says that you can use it only in this class. As soon as you go out of this class, it doesn't matter if someone is inheriting on it, you still cannot use it. That is what that is what private means. But here my situation is, suppose it's okay that I don't want anyone outside of the class to use it, but if a class is inheriting from it, if it is a simple extension of the class, then I should be able to use it. That is what my point here is, because see, I'm trying to call a method from the parent class. I'm trying to use the number and the name which are present in the parent class. So how do I do that? That is, how do I come up with a solution where I say that inherited classes can use my methods or my attributes, but outside of the class or outside of the package, then no one can use it. How do I solve this problem? It's very simple. When we did access modifiers, there is an access modifier called protected. So what is protected? Protected is going to will allow only child classes to access this attributes or methods, but anywhere else, but any other class which is not inheriting from the current class won't be able to use it. For them, it will be private. So if you just make it protected, that solves the problem. So now news channel will be able to see this. Probably will again print out something else. I'm going to print, let's say, I'll print the editor, that who's the editor for this news channel. Editor value is stored here. And then I've got the program. Now program also, if you remember, program also, there is a way how you can display the program. And how you can display the program? Every program has got a display method. So when I'm trying to show the channel, what I have to do, I have to show the program that it is currently going on. Means I've shown some of the channel information, and after that I need to show the program. And to show the program, how do I just call the display method of the program. So this is where the program object is actually getting used. And this is also another example of abstraction. See, I know which current program is going on, but in the channel, I don't need to write the code to actually display the program. Like how do the program should be displayed and everything, that I don't know. I know that program can be displayed by just simply calling a method. Now, how this method is implemented, what are the details of this method, that the channel class doesn't know. So this is also a level of abstraction that is happening here. That is, the channel class know that there is a program, and channel class know that program can be displayed, but channel class doesn't know how to display the program, and it doesn't need to know us, because the program class is going to take care of it. This is another level of abstraction that we just saw. Okay. So that's for the news channel. I'll do it very quickly for the sports channel as well. Exactly the same logic. I just don't have an editor. Maybe I can show something like this. Sports channel. I'll just write this word so that we know that what kind of channel we are watching. I'll do it here also. It'll look good. This is a news channel. We will do the same thing here. In the entertainment channel also, exactly the same thing. I'll just call it our entertainment channel. And here I need to mention what type it is. Okay, so type is where it is here in the type. So I mentioned the type of the channel here. So this is done. So all the channels have now been implemented. Now the next thing that is, or the last thing that is left for us to do here is, now we need to create the television. So what does the television has? So the television has a list of channels. And how do we determine, how do we show list? By using arrays. Sorry. channels. Why am I doing this? Okay. Channels. Okay. Then what I need to have is a channel. Then I'm also going to add something like this, or probably we'll add that. We'll add that later and everything. Now I need to create the television class, and while creating the television class, what I need to know is I need to know the channel capacity. Let's say, like, how many channels can this television store? Like, if you are using very old TVs, they could only have 100 channels. But nowadays, modern TVs, they can, show probably thousands and thousands of channels out there. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I don't think there is any limitation, or probably the limitation is really big. So what I'm going to do with the capacity, I'm going to create I'm going to initialize this array, the channels array. So I'll do something like channel equal to new channel, and I will give the channel capacity here. Yeah, very good. Couldn't find. Now the television, I'm saying that you can add new channels to television via the DTH. That means I need to have a method called something like public void add new channel. Something like this. So let's say from your satellite, a new channel is present now, and that channel should also be now shown. Like maybe you have taken something like, let's say, Tata Sky or Dish TV and stuff like that, and maybe Tata Sky has come up with a new channel and it wants to push the channel into your television. So you need to have a method in the television of the class where I can add a new channel. So this is the method where I can add the new channel. So first thing that I need to do is I need to keep a track of how many channels have already been added. Okay. And how do we do that? I will again create a variable probably here, which is going to keep a track of it, that how many channels has been added in the television. So let's just call it, for the sake of, or for the lack of creativity, added channels. Okay, and added channels initially will be 0. That is, no channel has been added. Now when you're trying to add a channel, now added channel will increase. But first thing you need to check is that whether added channels is less than channels.length or not. What am I doing here? I'm checking whether already the capacity is full. Like added channels is what? Added channels is just going to tell you how many channels has been already added, right? So I need to check that that value should be lesser than the actual capacity of the channel or actual capacity of the TV. And what is the capacity of the TV? The size of this array, like how many channels I can capture. So if this is less than this, here I'm just going to give a, or sorry, if this is greater than, this is greater than equal to this, then I just need to give a system.out.println. I'm going to print channels TV doesn't have any more capacity. Doesn't have any more capacity. Else what I'm going to do? Else what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and add that channel. So how do I add the channel? So I've got the array of channels. In the position, that is the last position where channels hasn't been added, I'm just going to do add new channel. I need to take channel as an input here, so I did not do that. My bad. So if obviously if I'm adding a new channel, then what am I going to get the channel? I have to pass it as a parameter, right? Channel. I think I have given a very long spelling of channel here, but sorry about the spelling and everything. My spelling sometimes can be really, really horrible. Just ignore that. I think I've given a long spelling of channel. Anyway, adding on. So a new channel has been added. Next thing that I need to do is the user may be able to change a channel, right? So change channel. Now, when you're changing the channel, what I'm going to do is I am going to take the channel number. That is, the user is going to give me which number I want to go to. Like I go to channel number 100, channel number 450, whatever. So I'm going to give a channel number and stuff like that. Now here what I need to do is I've given a channel number and I've got an array of channels. I need to find out whether the channel exists or not. Okay, so I need to write a program where I need to find out whether the channel exists or not. So for that I can write a method, a simple method where I call channel by number, and I've given the number here. What will I do? I'll just create a loop here probably, and the index is equal to 0 and index is less than equal to added channels, and index plus plus, or okay, lesser than 0. Okay, and I'll say I'll take the channels. So if the channel at the current position number is equal to number, that is, it is the same number. That is, so say, see, every channel will have a number like 400, 500, 600, right? So if I give something like 600, I need to loop through all the channels that are present here. That is how I have taken a for loop here. And with the array, I'm accessing that element at this particular index, and I'm seeing that the channel that I've accessed at this particular index, what is the number of the channel? Is that number equal to the number which the user has given? If they're equal, return this. That's it. And if I do not find any channel, I'm simply going to return null. Null means that, so null is a very special type of data type which represents empty, blank. That is what a null represents. So if I have to, so whatever, if I create an object and in that object I don't want to add any value, I just want to say this object is empty right now, null is the way to represent it. So this is a new data type which I'm showing you today. Okay. So now when I'm changing the channel, I need to first find the channel. So channel equal to find channel, and I'm going to give the channel number here again. Very good. So I've got the channel. Now what happens if the channel is null? That means no channel exists at that number. If channel is equal to null, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to print system dot println no channel with the given number found. I think I again made a mistake in the channel spelling, but it's fine. I'm including all this for now. Else, that is, if the channel has actually been found, then what you need to do? So then what you need to do is you take the channel which has been found here and you just show the channel. That's it. As simple as that. Again, here is an abstraction that is happening. See, when you're showing the channel, multiple things actually has to be done. Like you probably need to connect to satellite, this, that, and 100 different things that you need to do. But should TV, like should television as an object be worried about that? That how do I show a channel? It doesn't need to be, because I know this is a channel. The channel has its own way of being shown. If it is a news channel, it will do something else. If it's an entertainment channel, it will do something else. If it is whatever, it's a sports channel or whatever, it's going to do it's one way of showing it and stuff like that. Television need not be bothered about it. For a television, everything is a channel. Now, how you're showing it, how you're getting yourself implemented, that is your headache. That is not my headache. So that is another. So this is again abstraction that we are doing. Last time also we showed an abstraction where we showed the channel has a program, but the program may have its own way of showing. The channel need not know that how the program is going to be shown, how the program is going to be implemented. And here we are doing another level of abstraction where the television doesn't need to know how to show the channel. For the television, they are all channels. It is just simply telling the channel goes whatever channel you want, just show yourself. Just get yourself on the screen. How you're going to be doing it, it is your headache. That's again another kind of abstraction. Probably using the term headache is that doesn't sound good here. But what I mean is like it is not the television's concern. It is someone else's concern. Whose concern is it? Is it the channel's class's concern? Again, the reason why I use the term concern here is because this is how I am separating the concern. I'm separating the functionalities of a TV with the functionalities of a channel. The channel and the TV, they're related with each other. This kind of relationship is known as composition, because a TV is composed of multiple channels. It's a composition type of relationship. Or actually, it's actually aggregate relationship. You can also say that a TV is aggregating multiple channels out there. But the TV's functionalities and the channel's functionalities has been kept separate. And the TV's doesn't need to know how channels internal has been implemented. So that is like the abstraction concept is coming up here. Anyway, we have that done. Now let us very quickly try to write a main class. In the main class, we'll try to get everything to work. Okay, first thing that I need to create is I need to create some channels. Okay, so let's create a channel, and we will be creating, let's say my first channel I'll be creating is 10 sports, a sports channel. So it's a sports channel, right? So I'm going to do what? I'm going to do sports channels. And what are the sports channel need? First thing it needs is a number. 478, let's say. That's what this channel is. Name of this channel is 10 sports. And it also takes an array of type of sports, if you remember correctly. So new string. Let us assume for the timing that 10 sports only shows cricket and football. I know there is everything. It shows a lot of other things, tennis, wrestling, and everything. But yeah, for the timing, I'm just putting it like this. Okay. Let's create another channel called news channel. It's BBC channel we'll be creating, and this is actually news channel. And let's say this news channel is somewhere like 867, 76, something like that. I call it BBC. And what, if you remember, what is the thing that a news channel is going to expect? A news channel is expecting the editors, the name of sorry, I made a mistake here. Yeah, a news channel is expecting the name of an editor. So BBC's editor is, I think, editor BBC currently is, I think, Fran Answorth, I think. Anyway, my general knowledge is not really in question. I think it's Fran Answorth. I don't remember exactly. Already done. Another channel I create another. What can I create? Entertainment channel. Sony Pix. Let's say I'm creating Sony Pix, and this is an entertainment channel. And entertainment channel also has a number 409. The name of this channel is Sony Pix, and it requires the type of entertainment. So type of entertainment here is English movies. Done. Channel has been created. Now, after creating the channel, you need to understand there is another thing we're doing. That is, we're setting the programs. That is, every channel must have some programs, and we need to set those programs. Like if I go back to the channel class, entertainment channel, sports channel, news channel. So here's the channel. The set programs is a method actually which you're calling, for which you can set multiple TV programs to it. So let me set some TV programs to it. So 10 sports dot set programs is new TV program. It's an array. So, okay, I'll be doing it quick actually because I think we are almost. So TV program, and TV program needs again 2 names and everything. So probably it's a sports channel, right? So maybe it is going to show a match. Let's say Arsenal versus Leeds, which is just and a description. The description maybe it's like an English Premier League match. Okay, I can add multiple, but for the timing, since I'm just running out of time, I'm just going to be showing a very fast examples. I'll just copy this again. I'll call it BBC. And BBC is showing up program called, let's say, BBC News. That's the program that you see whole day. News around the world. Similar thing I'll do with put Sony Pix as well. Sony Pix is also probably showing, what is it showing? It shows movies, right? Let's say it shows Matrix. I was description. I don't have time to write this. Some movie. Okay. Now that all those things are done, now I need to create a television. So television object, I'm calling it, let's say, my TV is equal to new television. And what does television expects? The total number of capacity, the channel capacity. And let's say the channel capacity is 10, that it can hold 10 channels. And then my DTH is to add the channels. And how do I add the channels? By calling the method add new channel. And I'm adding 10 sports as a channel. I need to add all the channels, BBC, and I have got Sony Pix. Yes, all the channels has been accepted. Now let us see that if the user is asking to change the channel. So I'll change the channel to, let's say one of this 409, let's say. Let's try to run this. There might be some compilation errors because it was a huge program that we wrote. I knew there will be. It's not a statement, line number 32. Channels. Oh, okay. It's if this happens, then this will happen. Yeah. My problem. Line number 98, there is some error. Yeah, I made this error. Okay, all right. Let's run this now. Hopefully, there are no errors here. If channel equal to null, I think it's in the TV program class. If channel equals to null, can I get the line number here, please? 23. If channel equals to null, sorry. Okay. Another errors cannot find symbols, sports channel, new string. I always make this error. It's not string, it's S with a capital. Java is case sensitive in nature. Does that work now? No channel with the given number found. That is so bad. Let me just see what mistake am I making here. This is TV program. Let me go to television add channel. See, this is a problem that I made. When I'm adding a channel, I also need to do plus plus so that a new channel can be added. Otherwise, it's overriding all the channels out there. There it is. Sony Pix channel has changed. Now let me change to something like 487. That is, I want to switch to 10 sports. If we done that, and it should go 10 sports, and here Arsenal versus Leeds match is going on. If I go to, let's say, on a non-existing channel, you already saw the demo, but yeah, it's going to show no channel. Yeah, my spelling is horrible, but okay, no channel with the given number is found. So that's it. That shows of how it was a semi-complicated program. It was not that complicated, but still showed you some examples of how 3 objects were created and 3 types of classes, one class had inheritance to it, and how we went ahead and kind of integrated all of them into one program. I'd like to see whether there has been any questions or not. There hasn't been any questions. It's okay. So this is the end of the series, the introduction to Java. Basically, it's the beginner level program on Java and object-oriented programming. So this was the last video in the series. I hope that you all enjoyed this particular course. And if there are any feedback as to about this particular course, or if there are any feedback more about the course, then there is a link given in the description for giving detailed feedback about this course. You can go ahead and fill out there as well. If you have any further queries, or if there is something that you want to say, please go ahead in the comment section and add a link to it. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for whoever is watching this video, whoever followed this series. I really hope that it was useful for you and that you got to learn something from this video. So with that, best of luck to everyone. Keep coding, keep programming. Thank you. Till we meet again.